Super Bowl champions here in Miami as they win it here in Super Bowl 54. I am the greatest.
Army with harmony.
Artest looking, gets to the Bryant. Bryant dribbling, has to put it up with the buzzer.
He's at the 2, and the cat is in the CDW red zone. CW, people who get it. The cat runs into the end zone. That is a touchdown.
Cubs win! Cubs win!
Here's Jose Canseco, who looks like the Silver Surfer, sort of a comic book hero. Huge, muscular. Whoa! Wow, did he crush that one? Jose Canseco off the facade of the upper deck. Welcome to the Bronx.
Welcome, everyone, to the second episode of the most fun but least informative sports podcast that you will ever hear. Welcome to Great Friends, Better Enemies. I am your host, Floyd Johnson, Florida State fan, and with me is my co-host, Jerry Bostic, Miami fan. How you doing today, Jerry?
I'm doing great, Floyd. How are you?
Fine. I was just going to let people know, we love this show. This is our second episode. We're getting our bearings, but I'm letting you know, this is fun. We look at some topics from the sports week, and we give our opinions on them. I personally am not an athlete, never been an athlete. Even when I played football, I was not an athlete. So I am not an athlete. If you want to hear fun opinions from me, that's what you get. On the other side, you get the more athletic, naturally gifted people. You get Mr. Jerry Bostic. How many sports did you play in high school?
I was kind of like a half-ass athlete.
How many sports did you play in high school?
God bless me to be decent at everything and really good at nothing.
Yeah. But yeah, Jerry you played a lot of sports in high school, right?
Yeah, I mean, I never played actual football, but I played football forever. Same thing with basically every sport. Baseball. I played school basketball, ran track, played golf. We played tennis. It was weird. My school had a tennis court, but they didn't have a tennis team. So we would play the video game and learn the rules off that and then go up there and mess around with tennis. We even played street hockey. I mean, we played every sport you could possibly think of.
Yeah. And I remember we played a lot of grass football when growing up, a lot of baseball. Whenever we could find a ball and a bat, we would play. My brother was way more athletic than me, but he was also 5 inches shorter than me. So he was super athletic with no size, and I was all size and no athleticism. So that's how it works, So yeah, it's if one of us, if we could have combined, we'd probably be somewhere in some kind of NFL or something, because he was 5'6" and a half, $115. He was skinny as hell. And I'm seriously, when I was 12, everybody's we can tell who stole whose food, because I've been big my whole life, and he's been small his whole life, so it's kind of hilarious. But
he probably could have still made the team at Florida State.
That's funny.
I mean, that's really all they are, is Miami leftovers.
Well, one of the 22 times you've been on probation, he could have made the team.
Yeah, see, I mean, that's the only time y'all get good is when we're in trouble, like I said last week.
Hey, you know what you should probably do? Stop getting in trouble.
That's no fun. I mean, if you're going to Miami, there's way too much fun to be had for you to not get in trouble. If you don't get in trouble, something's wrong with you.
Well, I had kind of my list printed out for the day, and I was excited. I had my order. I actually pulled up some stats to go through.
Oh, shit.
Then
it's getting deep.
Then we got news yesterday from our favorite world, the great world of professional wrestling, the craziest story ever. So apparently this guy, and according to what they've released, is Philip Thomas. He left his house, and the police found him in a WWE wrestler's house. Her name was Daria Marinado. Her stage name or wrestling name is Sonya Deville. Apparently he was in the house, like with rope and all this equipment, preparing to kidnap Miss Marinado. He had been like a fan online asking her for dates. People have went through and, of course, you know, like they do, Twitter mind and put up posts and say, this is what leads to it. And, okay. All right. So, Jerry, you work in the world of professional wrestling. You have met many people, Hall of Famers, famous, that worked for you and everything like that. And you've met a lot of fans, of course. That's how you met me. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, first off, I have to wonder if this situation would have ever happened if Applebee's hadn't taken a turn for the worst. Because Philip is an employee of Applebee's. So if Applebee's was still hanging and banging, I don't know if this incident would have ever happened. Maybe he's depressed that Applebee's has hit kind of tough times lately. So, you know, maybe that factored into it. On top of the fact, I don't know why you would pick on Sonya Deville. I mean, she's an MMA fighter on top of being a wrestler. And going to go out on a date with Philip.
I saw the post. He asked her many times out on the date, or should he kill himself? And it was, I mean, he probably, you know, there's some mental health things going on there. But
that is the root of the cause. Yes. There are mental issues going on there. You know, whenever there was the little posts about talking about how meet and greets lead to stuff like this, I mean, that's just asinine. Obviously, if somebody does something like this, whether it be a wrestler or be an athlete or whoever, they have mental issues. That far exceeds any kind of meet and greet or any kind of interaction with somebody on Twitter. I mean, that's just a dumbass making a dumb statement to ever compare those two.
As I was stating before we got on the call, meet and greets are not a gateway drug. I have done
not even
hundreds of meet and greets. I've met almost every woman on the WWE roster. And you know what I do? I pay my money, I go meet them, and then I go away. I don't think they're going to be my girlfriend. I don't think they're going to date me.
Hope not. You're married.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm like. I don't think they're going to marry me. She didn't give me a special look. It was a business transaction. That's all it was.
That's all it is.
I paid to meet them, and I got to meet them. I don't think they love me. I am.
Often than not, for some reason, stuff like this happens in wrestling than other stuff.
Yes. Well, and that's the whole thing. If you look through the industry, you just don't. It's only wrestling is such a small community. We hear about this stuff, right? Taylor Swift had a much more persistent stalker than Sonya Deville. She probably has hundreds of restraining orders. You know what I mean? But you don't hear
Kanye West. Is that who it was? No. He's probably too busy running for president.
Yeah, she had a named stalker, which no matter what, found out where she lived and would show up. He had restraining orders and all sorts of things. And like I said, this is Hollywood. It's unfortunately one of the negatives of fame. And I think that's one of the things people don't accept, that there are a lot of great things out there. You know, Biggie said it best. Notorious Big. More money, more problems.
Money make, the more problems you have.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true.
It's true. It's like
even
money.
Me, who's teetered on like half-ass fame.
Yes, money.
It's
my God.
Free. It's not free. It comes with a hefty price tag.
You booked
entertainment business. It's not cheap. On top of that, there's a lot of mental strain that comes with it. And whenever you try to break into any entertainment business and you try to take things to a different level, I mean, oftentimes it's like a whole new world you come into interaction with all of these things and situations that you never really thought were going to happen to you in life. And so it's a really telling thing to go through that whole process. And people think, oh man, I'd love to grow up and be an entertainer. Da 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 da. Like, it's not all roses for sure.
Oh, dude, I don't know if I was ever destined for fame or if I had the talent to ever make it famous. But at 39, I realized a lot of stuff that I wanted at 8. I am glad I didn't get.
Right.
Like, I like talking on podcasts, and I like doing this, and I like that I know a lot of people when I go to wrestling events. That's cool, right? But then I have this time where I just want to be left alone. I like to go to the movies and just sit in the theater by myself and watch a movie. That's not something celebrities can do. That's not something.
Even on my level, it's funny you say that because that was one of the things that drove me absolutely nuts. Like, I actually got anxiety from it because it was like, I could never have time to myself. Like, you're supposed to be available to people 24/7, and for a long time, like I was, and it's easy to become codependent on not just people, but a thing as well. And it was kind of like it was not really for a long time a positive interaction because it was ruling my life. Like, oh man, I can't go do this because I got this call, or I got this call, or I got to be here, and so it's important when you get into these industries to have healthy interactions and to be able to prioritize where that should fit in your life. It's easy to worship, whether it be wrestling or any kind of sport, it's easy to worship it as a false idol because that's exactly what they are. They're false idols. They're a materialistic thing like anything else. And, you're supposed to put God and your family and friends and stuff before all of this stuff. And sometimes those lines get really blurred.
They do. They do get really blurred. I am, as someone who, like I said, is a huge fan of things. I mean, I get so much tunnel vision in going to my events and going like this, just like going through my things and meeting people and all that stuff. People always ask me, why does your wife like let you do these things? I was like, man, she knows I'm safer at these wrestling events than I am anywhere because I get tunnel vision. I'm like, a girl could come up to me and be like, I love you. And I would not pay attention to her because I got this meet and greet with the Iron Sheik in 15 minutes. I can't give a damn who you are. And Cody's about to come out for his entrance. She knows how I am. Man. She knows she knows my focus, my tunnel vision. I'm like, dude, you could have told me, I'm not saying this has ever happened, but you could have told me like 10 women were like into me during my event. I wouldn't know because when I'm in wrestling mode, you've seen it, I get in wrestling mode.
I saw it on a very personal level. For everyone listening out there, I was the DJ at Floyd's wedding, and he actually came out to the Cody Rhodes theme song. And that's taking it on a whole new level. And I remember asking you, like, man, is your wife cool with this? Like, did you run this by her? And you're like, oh yeah, she don't care. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you can Tess, we're both in our 30s. After you turn 30, relationships become a lot more honest. You stop telling
you should be yourself all the time.
No,
I think that's where a lot of stuff goes wrong. Is that first people? It is more of a common occurrence whenever you're younger. But I think you're always trying to put out like this best version of you, like what you think things should be, and then that's usually when a lot of relationships tank. So, it's like at some point you're right. You just become yourself, and it's like take it or leave it. This is who I am,
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I told people. Once I turned 30, it was like, dude, I love wrestling. I don't like cleaning up. I watch adult movies. And just like first date, boom, this is who Floyd is. You still want to hang around? And they're like, yeah. And then like 4 years later, it's like, yep, there's no like idealized version. I thought you told me this. No, I told you I am a completely flawed person, and I'm okay with it. I love me. And that's what I just like.
That's a good thing to be in touch with, loving yourself, because sometimes that's hard for people to do. You should love yourself because we're all individuals.
That's my whole positivity vibe that I
all
put
flawed.
out there. Yeah,
we're all flawed. Everybody has flaws. It's just
everyone has flaws, and if you watch E! News, you will guaranteed you will find a flaw for every one of your heroes. So I was like, it's like I am of course on the wrestling internet all the time, and I'm a big fan of Cody. right? Cody's great.
Of course you are.
I would not want to work for Cody ever. Somebody was like, hey, you want to be Cody's personal assistant or you want to work with Cody on a wrestling? No. Cody, from his own admission and people, he's kind of a dick at times. I'm good with that. Nope. Let's stay fan. You pretend to be nice to me when I pay you, and then I go back to my crowd, and I'm cool with that. It's a business transaction. I'm good with that. I'm like,
you know what, though, that in that industry, well, in entertainment in general, the harsh fact of the matter is you can't please everybody. You know, there's a lot of people that feel that same way about me, and it's like, man, no matter how hard you try, like some people, you know, no matter what, even if you do them right 9 times out of 10, that 10th time is whatever. They're just like, oh man, I don't like him, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, after a while, you just get over it because you're like, it is what it is, you know, like God knows your heart and your intentions. And
yeah,
you know, so he knows what you're really doing. And the rest of it, I mean, it's all just circumstantial.
People have listened, have heard a quote, and it was one of those things, a quote that I heard, that you're a different person to everybody you meet. And it blew my mind, but it also put me at peace because I know there's no way I can make everyone happy. And
it's impossible, and you know that I think that wears on you too in that industry because you know, if you legitimately do care about talent and fans and stuff like that, you do try, like you try your best effort to give people what they want, and you know it's just not always possible. Things happen, you know, so and so might not make it, or so and so's late, or this and that and the other, and or you can't just have this person on this show because they want them, and you know it's just impossible.
One thing I can say I learned as a child that has helped me in every aspect of anything that I've been involved with, which is crazy, is my dad was a Marine, right? And I'm early everywhere because of him. 10 to 15 minutes early. I'm like, seriously, if you say 6, I'm there at 5:45 or 5:50. And that got instilled in me. Like, I get anxiety if I'm going to be there within like 5 minutes or whatever. And I didn't even know what that was called, but I would be like, get really like, oh my God, I'm not going to be there on time. And do you know how many events and how many business meetings have went well because it always starts on that foot that I'm there on time? It's so weird how much, you know, that little thing can help, but in your life, and then you got people that are always late.
For sure.
And you know,
I'm the same way. Like when it comes to meetings, I'm always early.
Yeah.
You know, unless something bad happens, like I'm always early because I feel like that is important. You know, as far as like personal things, I still try to be on time. I don't always make it, but I don't sweat it. You know what I mean? If I'm running late, like, I'm running late, I'll be there in a minute.
Well, we've learned a little bit more about Floyd and Jerry, but I'm just going to tell you, when it comes to that guy that was in a help, I hope he gets the mental help and medication that he needs.
Man, that's the main thing. Nobody was hurt. You know, he got caught.
Yeah.
He needs to get the help that he needs.
Yes.
And it needs to be left at that. Like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, he needs the
like
help
I said last
he
week,
needs.
man, God will judge people one day. Like, you know, the last thing this dude needs is everybody pass a judgment on him because that's just going to send him further off the deep end.
Yeah, it was like somebody was like, they should throw him under the jail. I'm like, I get it. I understand that thought process. But this is what they're talking about, where like jail, just going to jail is not the answer for everything. This case, he needs, of course, super restraining order, where he probably shouldn't be allowed to be in the same city as Dario Marinado, like ever. But then he needs medication and therapy to know that, you know, the difference between this person being an entertainer and you're a fan of her entertainment, and y'all are in a relationship, because I'm sure she never did anything to make him think that. So
absolutely positive.
it's like an outlier. Like, first of all, he's a dude. Like,
and she does not get down like that. So
she is a very out lesbian.
It was not even feasible.
Yeah,
not even feasible.
Rainbow flag every time she comes out to the ring. So I'm just like, obviously there was some mental health issues there. So, but let's talk about some more sports. Today, Monday, August 17th, it's the day we're recording. The NBA playoffs start. Jerry, we were both Lakers fans, so We can get out that way. We both think the Lakers will win in the title, right?
Oh, man, I don't know. I'm worried about Portland. Portland, I thought, had one of the best bubble runs. Lillard's on fire. I loved watching. I watched part of the play-in game the other day, and I loved watching Portland center. I don't even know how to say his last name.
Nurkic, yeah.
And Memphis' center. I loved seeing them go one-on-one because, they're both foreign players. And I guess overseas, they still teach people fundamentals because these dudes are passing, rebounding, scoring. Like they're just nightmares down low, And so I really enjoyed watching that game the other day. I was really hoping Memphis would win, but that did not happen. And so now we're stuck with one of the worst 8 seeds of all time. I mean, it's not good at all. It's not good at all. Hopefully Anthony Davis gets off his ass and decides he wants to play every game consistently, and they feed him the ball. The offense should work from Anthony Davis. They should get the ball down low to him, draw double teams, kick back out, whatever they need to do. And if they don't want to double team, then Anthony Davis should school them.
Absolutely. There's no matchup for Anthony Davis in the NBA.
I'm not shortchanging LeBron, but at this point in LeBron's career, he's become a really, really good facilitator, and that's what he enjoys doing the most.
Yeah,
and if he's out there facilitating Anthony Davis, you need to take over.
Absolutely. You have a 7-foot matchup nightmare. There is no matchup for Anthony Davis. His arms are so incredibly long. He's so tall. He can hit the three, the mid-range. He has a great post game. He can pass outside. He is the matchup nightmare. He
plays point guard sometimes.
Yeah.
That's crazy. He plays point guard. He's going to be more probably faster and more agile than any other center that he comes in contact with. Like, he needs to just take over. Like, this is his time now.
Yeah, he should average 40 points a game. It feels like.
Oh, easy.
No one has anything for you. But we're going to go real quick through the first round, and we're just going to give you your early. We're not holding you this to our predictions for the first round. Of course, Lakers versus Portland. Who you got?
I'm still taking the Lakers, Floyd. I can't not take the Lakers. I don't give a shit if the Lakers weren't even in the playoffs. I'd still be taking them. Lakers for life.
Yes. I got the Lakers in Portland. I see it going 5 or 6. I think Damian Lillard will have at least 1 or 2 games where he just completely goes off, and it'll be how the Lakers adjust to that. But I think the Anthony Davis of it all will definitely get the Lakers past the first round. Then we got the other team in LA, the Clippers. They're going against the 7th seed Mavericks, who got Luka and Porzingis on their team. So you got the Clippers or Mavericks in that series?
I'm taking the Mavericks. There's only one team in Los Angeles, and it is not the fake-ass Clippers. The best thing about the Clippers are actually, he doesn't even play for the Clippers anymore. I was going to say Chris Paul State Farm commercials. He's not even there. The Clippers are wannabes. They've been wannabes. They've always going to be wannabes. They're not the Lakers. And Luka is going to end up having a better career than Dirk. And that says a lot. I respect what Dirk did. But Luka is much more talented. Dirk got the most out of everything he had. He was extremely talented. But Luka is on a totally different level. I'm taking the Mavericks.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and take the Clippers, not just chalk.
You can't do that, Floyd. You can't do that. You can't be a Lakers fan and pick the Clippers. You can't do it.
I got to go with the Clippers. I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think. I think it'll go 6 games. I don't think it'll go 7. I think it'll be a 4-2 series. I think in the end, Doc Rivers and the defensive prowess, the perimeter defense, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, is going to be the difference in the series. But I do think Luka and Porzingis is going to give them a hard time. The weird thing is there's no home.
Lou Williams, I'll tell you this, Lou Williams needs to stay out the strip club.
Hey.
You need to stay out the strip club. You ain't got to go to the strip club get some chicken wings. I ain't buying that excuse at all. Lou Williams falls exactly in line with what the Clippers are, a bunch of phonies.
Well, I'm supposed to hate the Clippers, so I'll agree with you, even though I do know for a fact that the actual strippers right now, when he went, are not allowed in Atlanta right now. They were closed. They were only open for food. So he literally couldn't have been going to the strippers.
Well, I don't think that he knew that, Floyd, because he got chicken wings anywhere.
They're called Lou Will's Lemon Pepper Chicken Wings. The wings are actually named after him. I don't know. I know when I go to Atlanta, I want to go see if these wings are worth like $80,000 that he lost by going to get them.
Well, I'm also going to say, I got 2 words for Paul George, too, because he's a lifelong Laker fan, and he went and signed with the Clippers. What a buster.
Yeah,
I'm over the Clippers.
I really don't like Paul George. I was say I hate Paul George for different reasons, but yeah.
Mavericks are taking them, period.
Now, this is where you might get an upset from me. We got number 3, Denver, versus number 6, Utah.
I'm taking Denver, Floyd, straight up. Denver.
I am taking Utah. I'm a big fan. I can't even remember his name of the guard for Utah, and
Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell. And I think Rudy Gobert is a defensive changer, and because
Rudy Gobert ain't no Anthony Davis,
and Denver is one of those teams that plays really well at home. Guess what? You don't have in the bubble. Home games. Everything's on a neutral site.
It's going to be a totally different game for them, but I still think Denver's going to pull it out in the long run. I think Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell. I think they're still young.
Then you have the number 4 Houston Rockets, who are missing their starting shooting guard. I don't know. They're kind of defenseless. Russell Westbrook versus my hometown.
Don't you ever say R.
Yeah.
You're on my team.
My hometown, Oklahoma City Thunder. Who you got, sir?
You know what? I'm actually going with the Thunder.
And this
I'll tell you
where
why.
we agree.
Chris Paul is the real deal. Oklahoma City was supposed to be straight garbage. And Chris Paul and what's his name? SGA.
Yes, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Adams is playing good. I think that OKC is going to take them down without Westbrook. And I really would pick OKC even if they had Westbrook. I just feel like this is the get back for OKC.
Yeah.
I feel like they got Westbrook and Harden, and this is the get back.
Regular season, I would go with offense, but in the playoffs, I go with defense. Oklahoma City is a much superior defensive team to Houston, which basically, to be a superior defensive team to Houston, all you have to do is show up because, they don't believe in defense. So
I hate D'Antoni's offense. I hate it. I hate the idea of it. I hate that he diminishes the role of a post player because you can't tell me that anybody on Houston's team can stop anybody with a dominant post player. They cannot do it.
No, I think their offense is good for stats. It is good to bring fans in the audience. It is good to help you win MVPs, but it is not good to help you win championships.
That's right. LeBron for MVP.
Yeah, LeBron for MVP. All right, so now let's go over to that sorry-ass Eastern Conference. We got the number 1 seed Milwaukee Bucks with Giannis Antetokounmpo, or however you say his name. Giannis A, let's just call him that, versus the hometown, the only team in the playoffs that gets a home game, the Orlando Magic.
Well, you know what? That home game's still not going to help them. The Bucks are going to squash them, and it could be a sweep.
I'm calling sweep all the way. 4-0.
They have no Shaq. They have no Penny. They haven't been good since Milwaukee.
Then we got the number 2 defending champion, Toronto Raptors, versus the Brooklyn Nets.
I had the New Jersey Nets. I keep forgetting that they moved. That's because they're that irrelevant, Floyd. I'm going with Toronto.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to Toronto and Boston in the second round for what I believe could be one of the best playoff matchups in the whole playoffs.
So Toronto, I think the most that's going is 5. Boston versus...
I don't think that. I mean, there's no Irving, no Dinwiddie, no Durant. I mean, they really might as well be the New Jersey Nets.
And then we got the 3 Boston Celtics against the 6 Philadelphia 76ers. From your previous comments, I'm thinking you're going with Boston?
I think Boston's going to the championship. That's what I think.
I like it. L.A.
I'm dreaming of the L.A.-Boston rematch. The 2 greatest franchises in the NBA's history are going to live it up. And, it's been a crazy year, but it also makes this year much more special whenever we get things like this. Because it's funny what you take for granted. Everybody takes like sports for granted. Well, after this year, hopefully you don't. Hopefully you're more appreciative of it. And so I think it only makes sense that LA and Boston meet in the finals.
Yeah. Ben Simmons is out. I think
Dunsky.
that's
Dunsky.
I think that's the key. So going with Boston, and then
they better just let Embiid do whatever he wants and hope it works.
Yeah. Then we have the number 4 Indiana Pacers versus the number 5 Miami Heat. Did you know either one of those teams were that good?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think Miami is good. I think Jimmy Butler's going to lead them.
Yeah. And that's exactly my pick too. I was taking Miami with the quote unquote upset. When you got a 4 or 5 seed, is it really an upset?
I think it just depends.
Yeah, because it's 4 or 5 and it's on a neutral court. It's almost like any home court, anything you have to kind of throw out the window. This is just straight who's better. I'm going with Miami in it. I'm like, I went basically chalk in the East except for that Miami. But I think, there's going to be some upsets, and I'm hoping it's not Portland over LA because I will be on the ground crying.
Don't even speak it into existence.
Yes. All right.
LeBron is going to find Lillard at some point in this series, and he's long. He's a lot taller. He's basketball intelligent in so many ways. If it comes down to it, LeBron will take Lillard, squash him, and the Lakers will move on.
All right. Speaking of the Lakers, I was going to ask you a real quick question. We just found out this morning, this is why I'm just bringing it up, I wasn't all ready for the show notes, Rajon Rondo just cleared quarantine hold.
Yeah, buddy.
He is 5 weeks into a 6 to 8 week thumb surgery, coming back from thumb surgery. How important do you think he'll be in the later rounds if they can get him back?
Super important. If we could get past Portland, Rondo is one of the biggest pieces. Losing Rondo and Avery Bradley was big time hurt for the Lakers. But Dion Waiters has played outrageous. I don't know what J.R. Smith is out there doing. Probably the same stuff he's been doing for years. Not much, but
yeah, J.R. is the streakiest shooter I've ever heard of. I mean, if he makes those first 2, just keep feeding him the ball because he'll hit 17. But if he misses those first 2, never pass it to him again.
Back to what you asked, though. I think Rondo, man, big piece to the Lakers winning. Big piece.
Yeah,
he's a facilitator like LeBron at this point.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he's the quarterback too. Because he came from the Boston teams with Doc Rivers, he's like, if you see the Lakers give up like 2 or 3 baskets in a row, he's gonna out there and get in someone's ass and get the defense back right, which is people don't understand how important that is to Lakers and Frank Vogel's system is playing really good defense and getting stops. So I think
Frank Vogel, props to Frank Vogel. What a great season.
Yeah, great season. Yeah. And it was like, he wasn't one of LeBron's guys. He was a new guy, and he had to sell himself to LeBron and Anthony Davis.
That's really good. They don't need a whole team of LeBron's guys. We've seen that tons of times.
Yeah, LeBron usually picks his coach. I mean, it's one of the things. One of the things people say is, like they point it down, but I'm like, all great players do. You clear with LeBron. So Frank Vogel sold himself to LeBron.
Well, people remember Jordan didn't come back because of Phil Jackson.
Exactly.
Phil Jackson left, and so Jordan left too.
He said, "That's the only coach it's the only coach I'm going to play for." So.
And some people, they get to that level where they can't pick their coach. You can't really be mad because there's only like a handful of people that have done it.
Yeah, I think most people, but like I said, Rondo is one of those things the Lakers got right this year because of one of the reasons they got right is because of Rajon Rondo. LeBron is able to play a lot more in the post and facilitate from the post if he needed to be and play a little bit more of a big man position, which helping Anthony Davis down low, it works for him. It just gives more flexibility to what the Lakers like to do on offense. Now, again, we're still in NBA mode. Damian Lillard's last week.
Don't care.
I gotta talk about this because
don't care.
He's playing against the Clippers.
He played great. It's the bubble. A lot of the playoffs were already wrapped up except for his spot, which is why he was still out there playing balls to the wall. Congrats on scoring some points, but now you're fixing to step into Laker land where none of that matters. You're not going to make it out alive. So great job of making the 8 seed, but you're not going to win a championship. Period.
Well, just for people listening, he missed 2 free throws against the Clippers, and they clapped at him, and they made a big deal about him missing the free throws. And that apparently pissed Damian Lillard off because the next 3 games, and I feel sorry for the teams he played. He went 51 against the 76ers, 61 against the Mavericks, and 42. I have against the Trailblazers, which is impossible. I don't know because this team he plays for. He has 42 against someone else, so he averaged over 50 points for 3 games to get them to the playing game against Memphis.
Exactly, just to get them in.
Yeah.
And people have been all over the Lakers for performing poorly. They haven't had to play since like the 3rd play-in game.
That's why I'm scared of game 1.
Take care of business. That's what happens when you take care of business, though. You can ease into these things. Make sure your people are healthy. They have no rest. They even had to play that play-in game.
Yes. I'm just saying that's why I'm scared of the first game because Portland's been playoff mode for like 2 weeks, and the Lakers have.
I just feel like
coasted.
Well, I'm just telling you, Floyd. I just feel like Damian Lillard. Like, man, your time is up. Our time is now.
Our time is now.
That's where I'm at with.
Yeah, you got to get championships now. All right,
And he has 0. He has 0. He's still going to have 0 after this season.
We got to bring us down. We got to bring it down. So over the last week, the Big Ten and Pac-12, actually Tuesday and Wednesday, officially announced that they were canceling the fall football season.
Don't care.
They might have to start trying to play in the spring. Okay, now this is something
they're going to play with it the spring. They're going to have a Big Ten Pac-12 championship. Like, come on. Well, who even cares that they play in the spring? I'll tell you straight up. First off, I hate Ohio State. They robbed Miami of their 6th national championship, and anybody who watches that game knows it, without a doubt. So I'm not going to miss the Big Ten. And what's the Pac-12 got going for them? What, Oregon has some cool jerseys, and USC used to be relevant a few years ago? They ain't got anybody important. Go ahead and sit out the season. Nebraska and Colorado, go back to the Big 12 where you belong. Every conference that drops out means Miami only has a better chance of being national champions this year. It's looking great. The landscape is looking great.
The only problem is president of the NCAA, Mark Emmert, came out and said there will be no fall national championships. So none of the teams
Mark
that are playing
is true. It's beyond me that he's still the president of the NCAA. They tried to banish the University of Miami football program over a couple of parties and some money. Like every university doesn't do that. And they botched the whole investigation, so they had to let them off the hook because they were being crooked about it. And if they rob a team of being a national champion just because the Big Ten and Pac-12 don't want to play, then they're wrong in that right too.
Yes, that's what I was getting to. That was the important part. So once they announced, they said, "Hey, there won't be a national championship." So the Big 12, the ACC, and the SEC are going to probably be playing all conference schedules, and pretty much the national championship will be and the conference championship will be their national championship. Does this affect your excitement for the season?
No, I don't give 2 shits. No, who cares? If they don't want to play, that's their business. And if he doesn't want to act like there's a champion, that's his business. But, most of the time when you watch football, you can tell who the best team is anyways. And I have no doubt, Floyd, that this year will be the Miami Hurricanes year to get back.
So I'm
making a bold prediction right now, Floyd. I am picking the U to be number 1.
Huh. I am a diehard, crazy, tattooed Florida State fan, as there is. But I know one thing. There's one thing I know. I know the sky is blue. I know you don't mess with the boss. And I know everybody in the ACC is playing for second place. It's Clemson.
What are you talking about? You don't think the Canes can beat Clemson?
Not one time out of 100, maybe. Maybe if Trevor Lawrence gets hurt, and when he goes over to gets hurt, they knock out the next 2 quarterbacks to where they got to play with the punter as the quarterback. Do I think Miami has a chance against Clemson?
Floyd, the U invented swag. Whenever that swag is intact, you can beat anybody. Look at the history of Miami. Look how many upsets they pulled off in high-profile situations where they thought like they would never be champions or they would never beat this team or that team. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but
the
Clemson,
everything comes full circle, and the U is coming full circle as we speak.
Unfortunately, Clemson has this thing that generally goes unbeaten, and it's called talent, and they got a shit ton of it. They got talent for days. They could probably field 2 Division I football teams. They got that much talent. They got 5 stars sitting on the bench and redshirting.
So how many teams have had this kind of talent but still lost games? A lot of them.
Oh, they might lose. They might lose in the playoffs, but you know who doesn't lose games? Clemson. They are. I mean, Dabo Swinney has that thing running like a well-oiled machine. Do I hate Clemson? Absolutely, with my soul all the way down. I hate Clemson.
You know what's funny is I really don't. Like, I don't mind Clemson. I don't mind Trevor Lawrence. I like some touchdown Jesus. I don't mind him.
No. See, I hate Clemson. I was at a game with Florida State.
They were a horrible program that had no promise, and look what they've done. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy.
You know what? I blame Jimbo Fisher because we had the conference unlock. He started screwing.
What?
He started screwing up, and then Clemson took over.
Conference unlock. You Florida State fans are so delusional.
Do you not remember the 26-game winning streak? Do you not? Is that 29-1 in 30 games? You don't remember that in the mid 2000s? You don't remember that?
Do you know who has the longest winning streak in college football, Floyd?
Who?
The Hurricanes.
No, see, that's where you're wrong. It's OU with 47 games in a row.
No, Miami's was 50-something games.
Oh, come on. Longest winning streaks in NCAA history. Let's see. I gotta know.
Oh, it is Oklahoma. Where's Miami at on this? This is not right.
I was like, what are you talking about?
34 games. 34 games.
And it was freaking impressive because it was during modern times.
Well, my heart at 50-something.
Their 34 games was more impressive than Oklahoma's 47.
I mean, yeah, like I said, once again, we're going back to the Oklahoma era where people didn't have face masks.
Yeah, because you look at
all the other winning streaks. This is interesting. If you look at all the other winning streaks in front of Miami's, they were the most recent one was 1971. So, like I said, Floyd, the longest winning streak in college football is the Miami Hurricanes.
Yes, and it was Toledo. And they weren't even playing against, like,
I mean,
top
who the hell
schools.
Toledo play in the MAC?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. It was like they weren't even playing against top schools. So, yeah, Miami's 34 is the most impressive modern-day record in history.
Yeah, the rest of them aren't records. And everybody knows the MAC is whack. So you can X Toledo out. Yale was on there twice. Give me a break. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's trash. Trash. That record is trash. No, but I agree. I don't give much credit to Miami, but that 2000 to 2002 run, I think like 10 to 12 NFL Hall of Famers. I'm not talking about college football Hall of Famers. I'm talking 10 to 12 NFL Hall of Famers played on those teams. It was one of the greatest runs and one of the most talented 3 years in college football history.
Do you realize on one team there was Clinton Portis, Frank Gore, and Willis McGahee on one team? That's crazy.
Yeah, all future NFL All-Pros.
And Walter Payton's son, who turned out to be a really good inspirational speaker.
Yes, Jared Payton. Hey, I like
funny story. So one of my friends, he's a diehard Nebraska fan, actually. And so the year Miami beat Nebraska for the championship, 2001, we actually went to Nebraska that year to watch them play, and I had my Ken Dorsey jersey on. And, going to Nebraska, that's one of the coolest college football experiences I think you could ever have. You just walk the streets, and everybody is in white and red. Like, it's crazy. Like, those people there, like, they just bleed football. They bleed Nebraska football, which, that's another reason why I don't like the move to the Big Ten, because to me, it just diminishes their history. Their history is the Big 12. Their history is playing OU every year, these high-profile games. And, like we went to this game, we were sitting way up there in one of the end zones, and these guys were like, hey, man, do you guys want to go down and meet the players after the game? We're like, what? They're like, yeah, we'll go through this side door entrance. We know this guy. We're like, yeah, whatever. So after the game, we go down there. No lie, they really did know these people. And so we were down in the Nebraska locker room, and Tom Osborne was down there. We got to meet Eric Crouch. We got our picture taken with him. And so, like, we're taking a picture with Eric Crouch, and it's me and my buddy with this Nebraska jersey on, and then me with my Ken Dorsey jersey on. And I thought it was only fitting that Nebraska was such team players to make it all the way through the season and then get annihilated by the Hurricanes for their 5th national championship. I want to give a shout out to Nebraska. Thank you very much. Frank Solich, you were never a Tom Osborne. Thank you very much. And, that was a great memory of mine.
I will say Nebraska, my big thing with Nebraska, if they would have just switched their offense a little, I think they would have stayed relevant for 5 years. If they had went from the straight wishbone to what Navy and Georgia Tech and run that wing bone where you had the person motioning, I think they could have stayed relevant for 5 more years. That's beside the point.
I don't think it's the wishbone, man. I think it's the fact that they quit getting that kind of talent they were getting before.
Yeah, because the wishbone didn't prepare you for the NFL.
I think it's just, man, Frank Solich is not Tom Osborne. I think you have these special once-in-a-lifetime coaches that people love to play for. There's Tom Osborne, obviously. There's Bobby Bowden. I hate to say it. Is Bobby Bowden's old ass even still alive?
He is. Still kicking.
Well, good for him, I guess. But, there's these once-in-a-lifetime coaches like a Coach K or a Roy Williams or whatever that people will go to just to play for them. And I think that Tom Osborne would have still been one of those guys, but, Frank Solich doesn't hold that kind of weight. I do like Scott Frost being their coach now. I think that's great.
I see, and I think it just got to the point of people have gotten older and more mature, and they've gotten smarter about their picks as far as colleges, and they realized that offense with all the running and no pass blocking wasn't going to get you ready for the pass-heavy NFL. And
that must be why Florida State's fallen off, is because people have gotten more mature in their choices of a college. Miami academically is right under the Ivy League. I don't know if you know that, Floyd, but that's a true statement.
I actually do know that because I actually got accepted into Miami.
What?
Yeah.
I can't believe you'd even apply for a scholar or to go to Miami.
I did not. My dad did, actually, because they kept sending letters to the house asking me to apply. And he applied for me, and I was like, "I'm not going to Miami, thank you." But I
stick to your guts.
I actually went to high school with a person that went to Miami and graduated from there, and she does very well in life. So Miami, I know, is a very respected educational school. They have to be because their football team is generally on probation every 5 years. I'm waiting on the next one.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
So now we got our last 2 stories. One's uplifting and one's hilarious. The uplifting story, Alex Smith is coming back from injury. I just took down some notes. On November 18, 2018 versus Houston, Texas, he was sacked and got a compound fracture in his leg. The break was so bad that he almost lost the leg and had to have 4 surgeries to actually put the bone back in place, including it was healing wrong. They had to re-break the leg to, set it correctly. On July 24, 2020, his personal doctor cleared him to return to football. And then on August 15, 2 days ago, the Redskins doctors officially cleared him for football activities.
You can't say that. You can't say that word. You can't say that. The Washington football team. What is wrong with you?
Washington football team.
I apologize to everyone listening right now.
They're going to be the Redskins.
Floyd did not mean that in the context that it was given. He would never offend anybody by using that racist name, the Redskins.
I don't care if you're offended.
On behalf of Floyd, I apologize.
They're going to be the Redskins till I die. I'm going to take a Super Bowl and play with Ricky Sanders and Darryl Green, and I don't care because, man, God, the Redskins were awesome when I was young. I'm going to keep this last version of Madden because it's the last one with the Redskins on it.
Yeah, the Redskins were a really respectful team, man. Yeah. They were respectful. And I think it's horrible, honestly. In all honesty, I think it's horrible that they destroyed their reputation and their history like that.
Yeah, my whole thing is
I don't think anybody looked at the I don't think they're racist, honestly.
It wasn't racist, and the logo was done by a Native American person. That's all I got to say. Throw my hands up. It was one of the times I was on the rich white guy side, Dan Snyder. I was like, dude, no. Get over it. If you don't want,
he's a horrible owner.
Yeah, he's a horrible owner. I'm never on his side on anything. But I'm just like, just don't.
You know what though?
Don't buy the jerseys. Don't watch the team. Like that's it.
Is it the Washington Football Club or the Washington Football Team?
Washington Football Team.
If that's the best idea you had, then stay with the Redskins until you get a better one.
Exactly. And and my big thing with the Washington Redskins is it was the name for like so many years. They're going to change it. Unfortunately, there's only one name I will be happy with, and that's the Washington Sentinels. And if you want to know why that is, watch the movie The Replacements, because Keanu Reeves shows up, or Shane Falco shows up at halftime to lead the Washington Sentinels to the win over Dallas, because Dallas isn't even good in fake life.
Maybe that's what they need in real life. Maybe they need Shane Falco to show up at training camp, not Alex Smith. You know what? I honestly thought Alex Smith was still with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm glad he's not. No, we actually traded him away and just, went all in on Patrick Mahomes.
On that Mahomes
before he had
guy.
even started a game. Well, actually, he had started 2 games, but they were at the end of the season where we had clinched. So before we knew what he had, well, Andy Reid knew what he had before all of us knew what we had. You want to know something weird? Something, well, not weird, but kind of embarrassing. That first year with Patrick Mahomes' starters, I picked us to go 7-9. I was like, we got a rookie quarterback that ain't never started before. If we go 7-9, I'll call that a good season. We then had one of the best records in Kansas City Chiefs history, and then won a Super Bowl the next year. Again, this reiterates that as much as I love sports, I don't know anything compared to someone that has worked in it.
I'm just so delusional. I think my teams are always going to be good. Back to Florida State, Miami, this is a funny story. Back in middle school, I used to actually hang out with my janitor a lot. He was a former basketball player that was really, really good around here. And so we would talk sports and stuff a lot. And I remember for years, when Miami was going through really bad times, like with Scott Covington, stuff like that, like Florida State was smashing them. Every year that game would go around, would roll around. He would take my money from me. He'd be like, "You want to bet on that Miami Florida State game?" I'm like, "You do." Every year I bet on my team, even when whenever I knew they were going to lose.
our bet.
So I guess do what?
I would say, my friend and I bet we would always, if I won, he had to wear a Florida State shirt, and I'd take a picture in front of it. And if he won, I had to wear a Miami shirt. I never lost that bet, not once. Not once. He caught me doing a really good streak.
Back to the Alex Smith stuff real quick. I've always respected Alex Smith as a player. I thought it was great he turned his career around like he did and ended up having a good career. So I think it's awesome to see him try to come back and play. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt again. I don't think he'll start in Washington, surely. They got Dwayne Haskins, so I'm pretty sure he's just a backup. Yeah.
I think the Washington football team, I think it would be smart to let Alex play this year and get Dwayne Haskins another, a year sitting out.
Probably so, if he can play. Dwayne Haskins sucks. He's an Ohio State quarterback. How many of those flourish in the NFL?
Yes. As a fan of Aaron Rodgers and both Patrick Mahomes, I can say I am a huge fan of quarterbacks sitting out a year before taking over the starting position, because it helps you get used to the speed of the game and know the offense and the plays on a level that no rookie can know. So, I don't know. We will see. Ron Rivera is going to make the good decision because he's Ron Rivera and he wins. He generally wins wherever he goes.
I like Ron Rivera.
I love Ron Rivera.
I like some Ron Rivera.
Another good thing I agreed on Snyder with. When he hired him immediately, I was like, yeah, that's a solid hire. He's going to fix your squad. All right. And then the last one, and from the world of the funny, I sent the whole, usually I'll send out snippets, but I had to send the whole thing so you could get the full idea that's coming. Seahawks rookie, undrafted rookie, defensive back. He's undrafted, so you're barely on the team as it is. Kima Severin. This week, after was found on video surveillance, captured him trying to sneak a woman into the team's hotel near its training camp headquarters. So, Jerry, you lit your lifelong dream. You get signed to an NFL team, but you're an undrafted free agent. They're the first to get cut. You're trying to make you some money. Are you
In
trying
the
to
famous
sneak some
words of
honey into
Snoop
the
Dogg.
hotel?
Well, in the famous words of Snoop Dogg, it ain't no fun if the homies can't have none.
Apparently, it wasn't going to be any fun because the Seahawks was like, dude, you were barely on the team, dude. We gave you a practice jersey. You were like number 76 because we didn't care, and you're gonna fuck up. You probably had 0 strikes, and you do a strike. Let me tell you, I have been horny before because I'm a dude. But I don't know. Sometimes
I'm not going to forsake my NFL career over that.
yes, you gotta put the business ahead of that. Dude,
Well, you got to be slightly smoother than that. Maybe this dude should have went to the University of Miami to learn how to really get down.
exactly. I actually agree with that. I'm just like, dude. First of all, you got to know where the cameras are. You got to know where the cameras are. And if they got you on lockdown, especially, honestly, if this was last year, pre-quarantine, he probably would have got like, dude, you're stupid. They would probably made him run. They probably wouldn't have cut him. But this is quarantine. You can't be around people outside of the hotel. You literally could go get a disease and infect the whole team.
Yeah, and the whole team don't want the clap. I mean, come on.
So you got this even bigger deal, and he gets cut. I am shocked. I always wonder, I had this thought. I was like, it can't have just, can't have just been horny. Maybe he got dared by a teammate. I bet you can't sneak a girl in here. And he's like, yeah, I can. And he was just very, very wrong. But good Lord, how I wouldn't even call it dumb. I'd say how horny did you have to be? But yeah, to commit such a dumb act. It's like,
Man, it's serious, man. That must have been really serious.
Dude, I don't know. You must have been ready to hurt somebody. I'm just like out of my mind. I read that, and then it was like, it's one of those articles. It was like the Dario Baronato article. I read it, and then I read it again to make sure I had read what I had just read, because it was that crazy. It was like, this article was like, oh my God, and the fact that this made the news, dude, we had to cut him. He tried to bring a girl in, and it was just like such a duh thing. It's like 20 years from now, even if he goes on, makes another team, and has like a 7 or 8 year career, remember that time you got cut for trying to sneak a girl into your hotel?
Man, what's funny is that dude's probably done. That probably ended his career. So hopefully, it worked out for him, because that's probably it.
Yeah, I hope he gets another shot. I do. I hope he gets another shot on another team, because I don't think one mistake should cost you your career. But if you are a GM and you only got one roster spot left, right? And of course he's an undrafted free agent, so is he exceptionally talented? Probably not, because he's an undrafted free agent, and you think, man, this guy was barely on the team and he still did this, and you start questioning the decision-making skills. And no matter what you do when you're hiring people, which, Jerry, you've done, and, you start questionable decisions people make at other places do make you wonder if you want to hire them there, right?
Absolutely. I think especially now more than ever, you have to be conscious of that,
It's like, dude, it's like literally, literally at this point in time, it was like you had one shot and you didn't go try your hardest and then just not make it. I would respect that. You went and sabotaged yourself. I don't know. All right.
Game over.
Yeah,
Game over.
Yeah, I was like, that makes no sense. Did you have anything else you wanted to bring up? Because I think we made it through all my topics that I sent to you.
I want to give a shout out to the Yankees for beating the Red Sox for the 9th straight time on their way to another championship this year, as so it seems. Daniel Cormier's last fight was this weekend.
Oh,
that
yeah,
was a
I
big
guess
deal of the UFC world.
Yeah, shout out to Daniel Cormier. It was somebody I didn't know who he was probably until about 20, 25 fights into his career. But he was very talented dude, very passionate dude. Yeah,
Huge wrestling fan.
Yeah, huge professional wrestling fan. And when he lost, it's like, people say there's no crying in sports, but, if everyone knows what it takes to be in the UFC, because, as a fan, I pay attention to this stuff. They train, and then they go into training camp for a fight. And a lot of times it is straight clean eating. It is working out 6 to 8 hours a day, consuming gallons of water, and, then wrestling and fighting different people of different styles all day to prepare for this moment. And you put all that work in, and then you lose. And it's like, the fact is, I'm surprised more people don't cry.
It just shows how much it means to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, wrestling's made me cry tons of times, good and bad.
Yeah, it's like
So-
the dedication, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's, you put your heart into something, and so, big props to him. I wouldn't be shocked to see him show up on WWE at some point.
Yeah, they've offered him a few jobs on the commentary ring. I would like to see him work one match, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, with somebody, build up the angle over a few months and just work one match.
Oh, like Lesnar, man. Oh, Lesnar or Lashley.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a dream come true because, he grew up a wrestling fan and he respects professional wrestling. It's like he's not one of those people that shits on it. He loves it. He understands how much athleticism and physical ability and pain tolerance it takes to be able to do it, and that's what I always respect. I respect when athletes in competitive sports, understand the commitment it takes to be a professional wrestler.
Absolutely, because a lot of people say it's way more taxing than MMA, so I always find that interesting.
Oh yeah, because you fight 3 times a year. You wrestle, 300 days a year?
Oh, a lot. they wrestle a lot. I can't even imagine that schedule. Did you also see Mike Tyson's fight got pushed back till November?
Yeah, they're trying to get fans. They're trying to.
Yeah, I'm trying to go if they're trying to have fans. Did you see his interview? I was under the impression that they were going to fight at first, and then somebody said, no, they're going to wear weighted gloves and there's no knockouts. But then Tyson released an interview, and they're wearing regulation gloves. And he said he's going for a knockout, and I don't know, man. Like, I think the fight's going to be really good. I think Tyson's going to obliterate Roy Jones.
Yeah, Roy Jones better be out there chasing them chickens so he can get away from Mike Tyson's power. But that's going to
he better go back and watch all those Rockies if he thinks he's going to beat Mike Tyson.
Yeah, he's got to get away from power. Got to get away from that power. But I'm taking Tyson all the way.
Tyson all day, every day. I'd take Tyson over Tyson Fury right now. He probably wouldn't beat him, but I'm still sticking with him. I'm a loyalist, Floyd. I pick my teams over everybody.
I see how you are. I'm a little more lean towards the realism. But hey.
What are you trying to say?
Huh?
What are you trying to say? Huh? What are you trying to say?
I lean towards the realism. I'm like, yeah, you are absolutely delusional. You even told me that you just come up with your stories and you go with That's amazing. I love it. I love that passion. I love the people. I love when I'm in my Florida State fan groups and there's the guys that say, man, you know what? I'm looking at the schedule and I'm like, man, if we go 7-5, that's a good season. They're like 11-1. That's the only we're only losing one. And then who's the one, right? Every year, Clemson. That's it.
Miami's who y'all are afraid of. You don't have to lie to kick it.
Oh man, we ain't afraid of you. Okay.
One other sports thing I felt we needed to discuss was: did you see the Ford Bronco is coming back?
The Ford Bronco is coming back.
Yes. And this actually happened a few weeks ago, but I feel like it's important we cover it. So they were they were supposed to unveil the Ford Bronco on July the 9th, right? Guess whose birthday that is?
I'm guessing O.J. Simpson.
Yes. And so then they tried to act like they did not know that, and they pushed it back to July the 13th. And I thought, what a tragedy. What a tragedy. Why would you not let it be done on OJ's birthday? He's the most famous person to ever drive a Bronco, or ride one, I suppose.
Yeah, but he's the only reason. He is the only reason anyone over 35 is going to buy a Bronco.
Yeah, and it's like, man, like, you would think you would use that you know what they say, like any publicity is good publicity. And if you dropped that on OJ's birthday, that thing would have went. You would have known about it, Floyd. So you didn't even know. You would have known about it.
Yeah, I would have known about it. My promo would be like, "This truck is killer."
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
I would lean right into it.
I mean, but honestly, I mean, I don't think OJ did it, but we'll leave that for another time.
We will leave that for another time. Well, Jerry, you're going to play golf. I
am fixing to go play golf. Don't squeeze the juice.
Yeah, you're going to play in the tournament. I wish you'd.
I don't play in tournaments. I'm not that good.
Do you wish golfers luck? Is that good, bad? I don't know. But
no, I'm trying to win every time I go out there.
Yeah, destroy everyone.
I hope you play good. I just hope you don't play as good as I play.
Yes, and I am about to go to sleep so I can work later today. So that should be fun. But I thank everyone for listening. Again, if you download us, you can download us on Spreaker. I put up the link to YouTube, and I think we'll be on Spotify soon. If you listen to us anyway, even for a second, a download, an hour, we really appreciate you giving us any time that you have, and we hope you enjoy this brand of sports coverage that we bring. Jerry, you have anything else before we go?
No, man. Just thank you, everybody, for listening. Be sure to listen to the podcast, follow us on social media, and love and respect each other. And that's all I have this week.
All right. So you can follow us at GFBE. That's Greater Friends, Better Enemies Podcast. So GFBE Podcast on Twitter. You can follow Jerry at Jerry Bostic World Class. Good Lord, I'm horrible at this. Jerry at Jerry the Boss WCR. And then you can follow me, because I'm super boring, at my name, at Floyd Johnson Jr. We will do this again next week. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to Greater Friends, Better Enemies Podcast. Bye.